time Cindy sings, I still want to call her a little girl. Man, is she grown. Thank you. You know, I think the message has been given this morning already. Between Brett, Reverend Wilma, Adam, the songs, the message has already been delivered. Don't you think so? You want to hear me? I was going to take the day off. But let's think about this. Thanksgiving. Did we give thanks? In the Thanksgiving period, did we give thanks? Renaissance Junior, all is well? It's the first Sunday of Advent. And Reverend Wilma told us this day is dedicated to hope and faith. Can we say hope? Faith. Now, I want to be upfront about this message since you asked me to speak. I'm concerned about you. You, individually, not collectively. I'm concerned that the clock is ticking down in this Advent season, in this year, and you still haven't made a move that's huge. You haven't rolled the dice, and it came up God. Rolled the dice on something big, risked something big. That comfortable environment that you allowed yourself to slip into, and you're still yet to roll the dice, and it come up God. That's what I'm concerned about. And so I believe that this message provides you a wonderful opportunity that's better than Black Friday, Super Sunday, or Cyber Monday. Now, I know there's some great deals out there, but I'm thinking there's something better. And this morning, Reverend Wilma, all I need is a choir. All I need, Reverend Brett, is a decent choir. Reverend Nisha, all I need is a okay choir. Can you guys be my choir? Maybe you all stand. Now, this is a familiar tune. We've all been singing it forever, right? Who have never seen the song before? All of us have. So let's sound good with it. Daisy, come on. Oh, he's faithful. Oh, come ye to Bethlehem. Come and behold the King of nations. Oh, come, let us adore him. Oh, come, let us adore him. Everybody likes the arrival of a baby, right? Emmanuel, God with us. We're anticipating, preparing, in that anticipatory preparation state. I ask you again, what do you want? What do you want to roll the dice on? All of your fears, all of your behaviors, beliefs? What are you willing to just roll the dice and say, now's the time. Now's the time to take the risk. Can you look at somebody and just point to them rudely and say, you need to take a risk? You may be seated if you want to. When we look at that song, the reference to him is not relative to a baby's gender. It represents each of us recognizing that we have a creative energy, a creative force within us. And it wants to make something happen. Everyone in here wants to make something different happen. The familiar is not enough. Is that right? And so we come to this point and we say, I'm ready, I'm willing, I'm able to activate the energy within me. The urging, the call of the Advent season is to go on a journey to Bethlehem, the place of substance, of bread, of new life. Bethlehem. Answering the call to go on the journey to Bethlehem. That's what this is all about in the Advent season. Are you willing to let go of the handrail? Let go and start walking up that upward trajectory. I can, I will, I must go higher in my evolutionary process. The Advent season requires us to do 3 things. Go. Can we just say go? Go. That means you have to get away from where you're at. Go. See Christ, the Lord, in you. In you. Nobody else but you. And adore the Christ in you. That's the challenge and the opportunity. We anticipate. And when we anticipate, there's hope. Can we say hope? It's a spirit of hope and faith that fills us as we move towards Bethlehem. Remember that song, Faithful, Joyful, Triumphant? It goes back to knowing that I'm on the journey and I'm reassured of my destination and that it will be reached. How many of us want to guarantee before we do a takeoff? How many of us buy a ticket for a plane ride and we ask the question, can you guarantee we will arrive? Not just on time, but just arrive, period. That's what we want. But it is the expectation that if I buy a ticket, I get on the plane, I do so with confidence. Otherwise, we wouldn't fly, right? But what if we had faith that was so convincing that we were willing to take off and go higher than we ever have before? But you already have the ticket. You just got to get on board. Remember that call? All aboard? It's for the train ride. But there's an onboarding process to fly as well, going higher and higher and higher. And so I know someone's listening and thinking, Reverend Glenn, I hope so. I hope things work out for the best. I hope things work out for my good. I hope I feel better. I hope next year is better than this year. I hope. It's like the 7 dwarfs with Snow White. I hope. And see, we've gotten to this precarious relationship with hope. It's kind of like a haphazard hope. Can we say haphazard hope? Now hear me out. Haphazard hope has no real direction. Haphazard hope has no real spiritual energy. Haphazard hope has no total faith in God, the Almighty Spirit. It's being the guide. the pilot. Hope must have a foundational base. And that foundational base must be a meeting up with faith. Faith is the substance of what? Things hoped for, not yet seen. We talked about this before. Most of us want to see it too. Most of us want to see it too. See, there's an intersectionality between hope and faith. When we talk about being on the pathway to Bethlehem, you can't just have hope without at some point it teaming up with faith. And so I like to say that hope and faith are twins. Twins. Like breast twins. For those of you who don't know, I'm a twin. A twin sister Lynn, 6 minutes apart. And so we think about miracles. And we always say we want to manifest a miracle, don't we? We want to manifest a miracle. That's the whole idea of prayer, meditation, worship. We want to manifest a destiny, manifest a miracle. But we need to have a point of clarification as to what is a miracle. Do we know what a miracle is? Do we think it's somebody interceding on our behalf, a higher being coming into our life, taking over? And we can just sit and wait, pray and wait, meditate and wait? Do we know what a miracle is? Most of us don't know what a miracle is. So point of clarification. And so you need to be saying right now, Reverend Glenn, point of clarification. So you want to know. Inquiring minds want to know. What is a miracle? Let's get to work. A miracle comes from the Latin word mirror. Can we say mirror? Mirror, mirror on the wall, will I rise or will I fall? That's not what this is about. Miracle means mirror. And so what does it mean? We look at the problem usually and we say, it's going to take a miracle, right? It was even a song, it's going to take a miracle. Oh, it's going to take a miracle to make me love someone new. I'm singing it high, all right, I love it too. I'll make it a contract. But listen to that. It's going to take a miracle, which is the miracle reflection. Miracle, mirror, reflection. Get into the rhythm of that. Miracle, mirror, reflection. What is it the reflection of? You. What's inside of you? The Christ. And so when you look into that mirror and you're looking for that miracle, the miracle is in you. It's staring you in the face and saying, it's your move. It's your move because I'm with you. So understand the miracle. The mirror, and understand the moment of opportunity is present. As we enter into this Advent season, there was a quote that I love from David Ben, and he says, anyone who doesn't believe in miracles is not a realist. Understand that. Anybody who doesn't believe in miracles is not a realist. And people ask us to do reality checks when we want something big. It's outside the boundaries that we set for ourselves. Reality is miracles are available at any time if we tune into the miracle moments. And so we keep in this phrase looking. 28 days until Christmas, 35 days into the new year, and the clock is ticking Can you hear it ticking? Tick, 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 tick. And it's asking you, what are you going to do with me? What are you going to do with this very moment? Reverend Harris said, when you get up and you're breathing, it's an opportunity. So it's time to get on track for hope and faith. This vacation, I spent some time trying to figure out this closet door. We got this closet in our house, and it came off track. And I'm trying to figure out, how do you get it back on track? What did I do? I turned to the expert. YouTube. 1,349 videos. And I tried this, and it's not working. So I went to the hardware store. Ace is a place with the help for hardware man. So I said, hey, Mr. Ace, I need some help. I got this closet door that's off track, and it's been off track for, about 2 months? Just been sitting there irritating Leah and irritating myself too, but I'm like, man, this is out of my skill set. And so it sat there. She's more mechanically inclined than I, and so I'm hoping, wishing, praying, meditating that she'll fix it. But it sat there for days. And so at this Ace, with the helpful hardware man, it could have been a woman, but this was a man. So Ace is a place for the helpful hardware woman or man. And so I tell him the story about what's happening. And he said, well, it's probably something simple. This is the way he's talking to me. I love that voice too. It's probably something simple. What you need is a good pair of pliers. So he took me over to the pliers. And I'm thinking, dude, this guy know what he's talking about, just a good pair of pliers. He said, all you need is a good pair of pliers, $5.97. Well, how much was the price? $5.97. $5.97. And so I buy these pliers, and he tells me what to do. And so I go home, and last thing I want to do is be embarrassed by Leah, because Leah will ask me quick, do you know what you're doing? Are you going to make things worse? Then all of a sudden, my limited confidence is depleted even more. And so I followed the instructions that he gave me, took the pliers, took the track, rolled them together. In every step, I lifted the door, put it on track, and it worked. And so if you need my services, I'm the helpful hardware man now. But how many times do we get off track and we take too long to deal with the situation, us being off track? Now let's be honest. Are some of us off track? All of us get off track. And the whole idea of being off track is to see the potentiality of getting back on track. And sometimes it's a lot simpler than we think. And that's the way you have to look at this. Every opportunity comes disguised as a disaster. You made my morning. He came in here this morning, and I started crying. Looked at him, he started crying. And so I said, come with me. Sit with me. Because I know you suffered a great loss. But you're on the road to recovery now. And this is your community. And we're going to pour love into you like never before. So keep coming back. We're on track. Now, I always want to be compassionate, and I want to honor the feelings and emotions because everyone's different. Mitch Albom said there's a story behind everyone's story. Every scar that we wear, outwardly or inwardly, must be honored, must be validated as real. And that's what I want to do. But at the same time, I have to teach myself and I have to teach you to say, I got to let it go. Can we say, I got to let it go? There are some things that we have to let go. We have to let go of some people. We have to let go of somebody said amen. We have to let go of some pain. We have to let go of some defeats. We have to let go of some disappointments. We have to let go of some hurts. We have to let go of some heartbreak. We have to let go of some grudges. We have to let go of some failures. We have to let go of some mistakes, missteps. Those moments when we didn't make the best decision. We still have a choice to get on the road to Bethlehem, a place of fresh bread, new energy, substance, and living at a higher level. What's holding you back from going on that journey? What's holding you back? It's all principle-based, where there's hope and faith married together. There can be expectancy. Expectancy. And so say this with me. I expect more out of me than I've seen. I expect faith and hope to be united. I expect to be able to do all things through the Christ that strengthens me. When I was in school, in high school, in the 1970s, I read this book called Robinson Crusoe. Anybody ever read it? It's an old classic written in the 1700s. And it inspired a show that you may be familiar with called Gilligan's Island. Remember that? Gilligan's Island? They're stuck on this island. The professor and Mary Ann on Gilligan's Island. Robinson Crusoe was a novel about this young man who ran away from his father. Does that sound familiar? Because his father had these goals, this vision of him being a lawyer, and he didn't want to. And so he jumped on a ship, and the ship became shipwrecked. How many of us wander away because someone is trying to put us on the road, the pathway to something better? And so he runs away, jumps on the ship becomes shipwrecked, and he's on this deserted island. Only survivor of this ship. And so what does he do? He looks around and he sees all this uninhabited territory. And for a moment he drifts off into a state of depression. Like, what am I going to do now? You ever been in that situation when you ask yourself, what am I going to do now? What am I going to do? How did I get myself in this situation? For a split second, he went down that road. And then what he did, he took out a piece of paper that hadn't got wet in the shipwreck. And on one side of the piece of paper, he wrote down all of his problems. All of his problems. Things I don't have, things that I'm not. And then on the other side, he wrote all of his blessings and all the potential All the food aboard, it's lost. But there's fruit trees here. I don't have a change of clothes. It's warm. You don't need clothes. I'm not telling you to go naked. But what I am challenging you to do, it's not just an inventory, but understand the principle of expectation. Expectancy comes from knowing that I have a track record of being in the Spirit and the Spirit taking over. Hope and faith. And so the idea of you taking out that piece of paper and on one side putting all the things that challenge you, all the things you think have not occurred in your life. Put them down. Challenge yourself. And then think about all the blessings you've had. You know, when you really do an assessment of your life, you begin to think about all the times you spent doubting, in that role of doubting and worry. But at some point, all I want you to do is understand that you have to move beyond being a worrier and become a warrior. And when you understand that you're moving from being that worrier to a warrior, you come to understand that there's wisdom through the journey. And each and every one of us now, we're coming of age with the idea that I have wisdom. Wisdom to know the difference. Wisdom not to go down that road, but sometimes do a U-turn, a slight turn, to veer away from those things not consistent with what we want. And so the challenge is just that, to do that inventory. This is not a gratitude list. This is an inventory to let you see that that principle of expectancy, where hope and faith come together, have been active in your life for a long time. But what do? We just skip on to the next problem. That's what we keep doing, don't we? We skip on to the next problem. We don't even acknowledge problem solved. Thank you, Lord. We don't even do that, do we? Problem solved. We go on to the next one. What's the next problem? And that's the way our minds work. But we're not understanding, we're not grasping the principle here. The principle of expectancy through hope and faith. So this is our opportunity this morning. The good news is Advent season is here. The season of anticipation and preparation and unification. A season of miracles mirrored through you as the Christ within you. Emmanuel, Christ within us, with us. One thing you're going to learn once you completely open your eyes and truly commit is hope and faith have the ability to override facts, to override your flaws, to override your fears. The past is not something to worry about. It's something to gain wisdom through. Hey, facts. Hey, flaws. Hey, fears. I'm taking my power away from you. I'm coming back to center. The miracle is manifested through me. And I can indeed do all things through the Christ who strengthens me. There's a wreath in front of me right now. And that wreath symbolizes our growth. Our growth. And that wreath is in a circular formation to let you know there is no beginning and there is no end. So hope and faith are always present, ready to rise up and to grow within you. There's faith, and there is hope. Emmanuel is here. Renaissance Unity, I love you, and there's nothing you can do about it but love me back. Thanks for having me this morning.